A new law in the state of California is mandating that landlords report their tenants' on-time rent payments to credit bureaus. But is the law actually going to be effective, and does it actually hurt landlords? I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting article for you today, and it's coming out of the state of California. So California always puts these laws into place that have a lot of unintended consequences, okay? Things that hurt landlords, even though they might look good on paper. Supposedly, this law is going to help tenants by making landlords report to these credit bureaus the on-time rent payments of their tenants. And, my biggest problem with the law, at least from what I've read, is that there's no provision in there where landlords are reporting the non-on-time rent payments to these credit bureaus, basically when the tenant is paying late. So probably in more cases than not, you're going to have a lot of tenants out there who are going to be negatively impacted if the landlords suddenly are saying, hey, I'm going to report all these late rent payments to these credit bureaus. Okay, there's going to be a lot of tenants out there whose credit is absolutely destroyed. So from what I'm reading, though, there's nothing in the law saying that, landlords have to report this or landlords should report this. I'm not saying that it's not what's going to happen, but they're either trying to hide that fact or they are telling landlords not to do it. Okay, and that's where I'm a little bit confused, because why would you only want to report the good things when it comes to credit, especially? Okay, we're talking about a person's a lender. Should the lender trust this person when making a loan, when making a loan decision? Should the lender or the business trust this person? And if you don't put the payments on there that are late or partial payments or whatever, or debts owed, then you're only putting half of the story. And that doesn't seem quite right. So I could see this law backfiring. I could see this law backfiring, destroying a whole bunch of tenants' credit if the landlords are allowed to put that on there. And if they're not allowed to put that on there, then all it is a scam. Okay, it's a complete scam that only shows the good and none of the bad, and will mislead lenders, mislead other landlords into believing that these are good tenants when they are constantly paying late or not paying at all. Okay, so maybe I'll go into more details here in the article and I'll be able to better explain exactly what it's saying. So before we get into the article, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. So first of all, as a landlord, would you want to report your tenant to a credit bureau if they have on-time rent payments? Now, the California law actually has a provision in it that allows the landlord to charge a $10 fee for the cost of reporting this information to the credit bureau. My question about that $10 fee is it a one-time fee or is it a recurring fee? Is it like $10 a month? Because this stuff requires time and effort and money in order to report this. And I don't see it not being basically a recurring fee every single month. Like credit bureau fee, $10 every month. I could see that. But I just didn't get enough explanation out of this article in order to figure out, okay, is this fee just one time or is it monthly? But do you think that this law is going to benefit landlords or tenants or neither? That's the question that I have for you. Anyway, let me get into the article. We can go over the details. This article is coming from cbsnews.com, and it says California renters can have monthly payments reflected on their credit scores under new law. Let's get into it. California Governor Gavin Newsom on Thursday signed into law a bill requiring landlords of multifamily housing to give tenants the option to opt into having their rent payments reported to the credit bureaus. Assemblymember Matt Haney from San Francisco authored the bill, which is aimed at helping people improve their credit scores by making on-time monthly rent payments. Many renters spend a majority of their income on rent and prioritize their rent payments over all other expenses each month. but their on-time rent payments are never reflected on their credit scores, even when their missed rent payments are. Haney, who is also the chair of the California Legislative Renters Caucus, said when he introduced the bill in June, "This is an unfair practice that is further pushing millions of renters into cycles of debt and poor financial health." So the premise is from this assembly member that basically landlords are reporting the bad payments already, but they are not reporting the good payments and giving renters a credit boost. And I just don't think that's the case. Now, the reason that a lot of renters have negative credit impacted on their credit scores is because there's been a judgment or they faced eviction, and then the landlord had that put onto the person's credit history. But in most cases, neither positive nor negative things about a person's rental payment history are put onto their credit score. Now, when it comes to a landlord, right, a landlord-tenant relationship versus somebody making a purchase by getting a loan, we're talking about a loan. We are not talking about a landlord-tenant relationship where you're basically paying for a service, paying a fee for a service. So when you're paying a fee for a service, there's no borrowing of money involved. So it's similar, but it is not the same. It's kind of like saying, okay, I am renting a car. The car costs $1,000, so I give $1,000 to the car rental company, and then they lend me the car for a week. Okay, so you basically paid them for the service of renting the car. You didn't get a loan from the car rental company. So why would they say, oh, well, see that, look, this person, they paid me on time, so I'm going to put that positive credit thing on it. No, there was no credit involved, okay? So, yeah, I think that they are confusing two different things here. Now, when it comes to a debt owed afterwards, that's why if you don't pay for something that you promised that you would pay for, right, and you have a debt owed, then yeah, that can affect your credit. Okay, it's a debt just like any other debt. So yeah, I mean, I think that they are confusing two different issues, and I just don't think that rental payments should be considered part of your credit history, because it's not credit. Assembly Bill 2747 only applies to buildings with at least 15 units. Small landlords and assisted housing developments are exempt. For leases entered into on or after April 1st of 2025, landlords must offer the option at the time of the lease agreement and then at least once annually going forward. For leases outstanding as of January 1st, 2025, landlords must offer the service to renters no later than April 1st of 2025 and then at least once annually. The law also allows landlords to collect a $10 fee or the cost of providing the service from each tenant who opts in, whichever is less, unless there isn't an actual cost to the landlord. So yeah, that's the part about the fee. Like I said, this could end up costing landlords a lot more than $10. I don't know. And basically, landlords of more than 15 units, it's mandatory. It's absolutely mandatory that they do this for the tenants, and unless you're pointing the negative stuff too, you're going to end up with a lot of garbage. So you know what, I think this will be a very big negative for low-income tenants in particular, because they're the ones with the most shaky payment histories. And when the politicians start to see this, all of a sudden they're going to change their tune on, oh, this was a great idea. This is a great idea. As for the tenants who make their payments on time every month, most likely they already have good credit. They already have good credit. So I don't see this as being a big benefit for them. I mean, it might help, but what are we talking about here? Oh yeah, you're going to be better able to purchase a house in California, where houses cost so much that renters can't afford them anyway. So This isn't going to be the big boost to people's credit that they think it's going to be. I really don't think it's necessary. I think it's going to have a negative impact on lower income tenants. I think that the costs and the recurring issues, especially for the smaller landlords, and yeah, there are smaller landlords who own 15-unit buildings. Okay, I think the costs and basically landlords aren't going to be able to get compensated for all the costs, so the result is going to be slightly higher rents, of course. So once again, negatively impacting the smaller or the lower income tenants. So what do you think? What do you think of this sort of bill? Do you think this thing is actually going to benefit tenants? Do you think it's going to hurt landlords? Do you think it's a complete waste of time? Okay, put your comment in the comment section down below.